Hey YouTube, John here, back with another review, and today we're going to be taking a look at the MJX X901. Now the X900 and the X901 are the smallest of a series of hexacopters recently released by MJX RC. Now as far as the hex goes, the 900 and the 901 are the exact same. The difference is in the transmitter. The X901 comes with a smaller nano-style transmitter, while the X900 comes with a medium-sized, kind of PlayStation-style transmitter that also includes a G-sensor, so you can fly the quadcopter, or hexacopter, by simply tilting the transmitter in the direction you want to fly. What I'll do is I'll leave a link in the description down below for both models. That way you can decide, if you do like this, which model you want to get. I do have to say though that this one actually disappointed me. It seems as though MJX was more concerned with making a tiny hexacopter than making a good flying hexacopter. And you know, I know it was one of the first ones to hit the market, but still, the way it flies, I'm surprised it made it through quality control. Now definitely don't get me wrong, the fit and finish on this thing is great, you know, just like every other MJX model, but the flight characteristics, they leave a lot to be desired, but we'll get into that a little more later on in the review. The Ready to Fly package is going to come with almost everything you need to fly, including the hexacopter, transmitter, USB charger, and a full spare set of props. Like most of these models, the only thing you're going to need to supply is a set of batteries for the transmitter. In this case, it's 2 AAA batteries. Now the transmitter is your standard cookie cutter nano style transmitter that comes with pretty much every nano copter on the market. But the good news is that MJX used the same protocol between the X600, 800, and 900. So that means that if you have, say, the MJX X600, you can fly this nano hexacopter with a full-size transmitter. So definitely thumbs up to MJX on that one, because that was a great call. So anyways, going back to the stock transmitter, you have your left and right trim buttons here, your forward and back trim buttons here. The left stick pushes in to cycle through the rates, and there's a total of 3 rates. Although in reality, advanced is the exact same as intermediate with the addition of auto flipping. So that means while you're flying, if you give more than 90% input, the hexacopter will flip in that direction. So that can be a lot of fun to do some, you know, cool aerobatics with. It can get a little crazy indoors, you know, if you're flying around obstacles, but you know, if you have a large room, that can definitely be a lot of fun. And speaking of flips, the flips are fast, but it has a horrible recovery. It must just be the weight of the thing. But when you do a flip, you have to have a good 6-7 feet of clearance. You know, otherwise it's gonna come down and hit the ground. You know, if you're gonna do any flips with this hexacopter, I'd recommend doing them within the first minute of flying, because once the battery wears down, it gets even worse. This hex also has 2 yaw rates. In low rates, the yaw is extremely slow, and it's actually pretty difficult to fly indoors with it, just because it's that slow. However, once you get into intermediate and expert modes, the yaw is actually reasonably fast. So I typically just fly in an intermediate mode, and that works out just fine for me. And the last thing I want to cover with the transmitter is calibrating the accelerometers. So what you're going to do is turn the hexacopter on, bind your transmitter to the hexacopter, and take both sticks and go down right. You'll see the LEDs flash. Once they stop flashing, your accelerometers have been recalibrated. Now, like its big brothers, the X900 has this really cool spider-like design, and it really lets it stand out from the crowd. You know, MJX really hit a home run with this design. Just really, really cool on their part. It's got nice bright LEDs here out on the motor pods. We have blue all the way around, and then 2 orange ones in the front. So even though all the props are the same color, orientation is still very easy to maintain, because these LEDs are right on the edges of the motor pods, and they're just super bright. The on-off switch is located here, there it is, at the back of the hexacopter, and it's kind of small and recessed, so if you don't have any fingernails, it can be hard to get to it. But it's not a huge deal. And right above that is the charging port. And I like what they've done with this, because they've gone with the round style charging port. There's no fussing around with, you know, which end's up, which end's down. You just take your nice round plug and plug it right in. It's a breeze. So another great design on MJX's part. It's got a built-in 180 milliamp hour battery that takes roughly 35 to 40 minutes to charge with the stock charger. It started off giving me just shy of 5-minute flights, and then after about 10 flights, it reduced to about 3 minutes. And it stayed there, you know, for probably the last 15-20 flights. So I think the battery's failing on me. If you look in, it's hard to see it, but see if I can get the right angle. It almost looks like the battery's puffed in there. So I think the battery failed on it. I gotta try to find a new one. But I think that covers about everything. I hope it didn't seem too negative. I just want to make sure I share my honest experiences when I do these reviews. That way people know exactly what to expect, or at least they know what I experienced. And you know, you can make an informed decision based off of that. So let's just take this thing for a flight in the kitchen here and see how it flies. All right, we're here in the kitchen with the MJX X900, and we're flying it with a stock transmitter. So we'll start it off in low rates. I'll show you the low rates yaw, and you can see it's extremely slow. And there's pitch and low rates. So you can see it's just really hard to fly it indoors in low rates because it's just, the yaw is so slow. And we'll move it up into intermediate rates, and you can see the yaw, you know, picks up significantly, as does the pitch. And it's really unfortunate that, you know, this thing has flyaway issues, because it'd be a great outdoor flyer. But I've already had it fly away once, and I've seen several YouTubers have theirs fly away, so I definitely wouldn't recommend flying this thing outside. We'll move it up into expert now so we can do some flipping, and we'll give it some throttle first. Full throttle, full throttle. You can see it just really struggles to recover, and it's so heavy. Do another flip, full throttle, full throttle. And you can see, you know, it gets worse as the battery runs down. So, you know, not a great flipping hexacopter, but if flipping's not your thing, then that's all right. All right, we'll move it back into mid rates and just do some circuits around the kitchen here now. Do a couple funnels. And that's about as tight of a funnel as you're going to get with this thing. You know, it seems like most of the hexacopters really don't have a very fast yaw, and you know, this one's no different. But it is, you know, it's fairly maneuverable. So, you know, really with a couple more refinements, this thing would be an amazing hexacopter. But, you know, being that it's the first one on the market, I guess we'll cut on some slack. But all in all, I think that about covers everything with this hexacopter. I hope this review was helpful to someone. If it was, please give it a thumbs up. Definitely leave a comment down below. If you haven't already, please subscribe. And as always, thanks for watching. I'll catch you next time.